Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about why living slower is better for you. Majority of the people today walk around mentally exhausted. It's not because our life is impossible anymore. It's usually because they never consciously take an effort to get rest. Rest as a concept is so not normalized. We wake up immediately and consume information, whether it's through our phones, our work, our school. We scroll constantly, we multitask practically every day, and our attention is always divided amongst multiple things. Biologically speaking, this is really bad for your nervous system because constant urgency changes the way that your brain works and how your nervous system operates. So to touch upon all of these things, in this video I want to talk about what stress and cortisol actually do to your brain, why overstimulation is making people feel mentally exhausted, why slowing down can actually enhance productivity, and how to practically start living slower. So what's actually happening in your brain when your body experiences stress? It releases something called cortisol, which is a primary stress hormone. Cortisol itself is not bad because in some doses we do need cortisol, for instance, to wake up in the morning or to handle difficult situations. The problem starts when it becomes a constant in your life. For a lot of people today, stress never fully turns off. Your brain is constantly processing notifications, assignments, messages, social media, social comparison, deadlines, stimulation, noise, and all sorts of other things. And therefore your nervous system ends up being more activated than it should be. Something a lot of people don't know is that having an excess of cortisol in the body can over time affect your focus, memory, the quality of your sleep, emotional regulation, and even burnout. And it can make all of these things worse. If I take the example of sleep, for instance, people with high cortisol feel tired throughout the day but get super mentally active at night, and this is because the nervous system has been overstimulated for so long that the body is now struggling to fully relax, and this is super unnatural. So I think it's safe to say that our world today is facing more overstimulation than we are physically designed for, and I've totally felt all of this as well, especially with social media. The fact that we have short form content, constant comparison, practically no silence. Even if it's just music playing in the back, a TV show playing in the back, it's just a lack of silence. Now I'm going to talk about the productivity lie. I think a really big lie that all of us have been told is that being super busy all the time equates to being more productive overall. But stress and productivity are not the same thing. In fact, psychological research actually shows that chronic stress reduces cognitive performance. When cortisol is too high in the body over a prolonged period of time, the prefrontal cortex actually functions a lot less effectively. And that is the part of the brain that is responsible for focus, critical thinking, decision making, problem solving, and self-control. So stressing yourself out can actually make you less productive. The other end of it, calmer people do perform better. They're usually calm, consistent, clear-minded, and more intentional towards whatever they're doing. When your brain feels safe, it performs better. So how can we live life a little bit slower to boost our own productivity, memory, focus, and critical thinking? Living slower does not mean removing ambition in any way. It just means removing the sense of urgency that we feel from day to day. The first thing I would say is stop checking your phone the second you're awake. When you check your phone when you wake up, your brain enters reactive mode. It is better to start your day on more grounded thoughts to prevent that cortisol spike. Even waiting as little as 20 to 30 minutes before checking your phone can make a really huge difference in your cortisol spike. You can take that time to shower, brush your teeth, wash your face, whatever. The second thing I would say is to stop multitasking. Your brain is not designed to focus on so many things at once and all the time. No matter what people say, multitasking is super unnatural to the human brain. Doing one thing fully and with all your attention creates a sense of mindfulness, and that is very helpful to retain your focus and make sure that you're doing the task effectively. The third one that I've personally tried and it's made a really big difference for me is to walk without any kind of stimulation, whether that's listening to a podcast or music or even walking with a friend. Just being by yourself and taking a 15 to 30 minute walk where you're getting exercise but you're also just calming your mind down. This also gives you a lot of emotional clarity because calm movement is very good for your nervous system. Your brain is a forever working machine. You need to give it time without constantly consuming information. The fourth one is to spend less time consuming and more time thinking. Most people are constantly absorbing information, but they rarely sit with their thoughts. And consumption without any kind of reflection creates mental clutter. Just imagine if you kept buying things for your closet, but you never cleaned up your closet, it would start overflowing. And if you apply the same analogy to your mind, it functions the same way. There's only so much that it can take before it kind of feels super overwhelmed. So it's better to also just let your thoughts marinate, just sit with them, not do anything for 10 to 15 minutes in a day. This next point ties back to one of the things I addressed before. That is, the beginning and end of your day should be slower. Fast mornings create rushed energy, and overstimulating nights affect the sleep quality. Small rituals like making your coffee slowly, journaling and stretching, maybe reading if you're into that, can create a good difference. And also just mentally making sure that you're not rushing yourself through that entire process. You should also rest before your burnout forces you to rest. I've seen a lot of people where they only rest when they're completely emotionally done. Rest is something that works preventatively and not reactively, and so it is a good maintenance routine to add. And there are a lot of warning signs that your body gives you before it actually reaches burnout. They include brain fog, irritability, constant exhaustion, or lack of motivation. Ignoring these signs can usually make your recovery harder, so I would personally suggest you inculcate rest and slowness into your everyday so you don't have to deal with the mental consequences of it. And over a prolonged period of time, these habits can really help you come back to yourself and also bring back a more optimized version of your mind. Naturally, if you are focused better and thinking better, you would be more productive. I think a really important aspect of self-development is to learn to feel calm again, not constantly stimulated, not constantly rushing, and not proving your worth through exhaustion. Your whole life will change if you just calm down your nervous system. You can think clearly, be more present, and enjoy life more deeply. Maybe slowing down isn't falling behind. Maybe it's starting to appreciate life more and be at present with your life. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and let me know in the comments below if you want to see any specific kind of videos. Can't wait to see you guys again. Bye!